Ever get that feeling? You know, like when you look up at the night sky and it's like, okay, we're kind of starting to figure this whole universe thing out. Galaxies are spinning, stars are, doing their whole birth and death thing. It's a pretty amazing show, right? But then every now and then something pops up and it's so weird, so unexpected, you just have to stop and go, wait a minute, what is that?
Yeah, the universe definitely has a way of keeping us humble. It's like a constant reminder that we're still just scratching the surface.
And today's cosmic curveball comes straight from some brilliant minds over at CU Boulder. They've discovered this entirely new class of galaxies they're calling Ultra-red Flattened Objects, or UFOs for short.
Catchy, right?
Definitely grabs your attention. But before anyone starts picturing little green men, we're talking astronomical UFOs here. Think of them more like brand new cosmic mysteries.
Yeah, that's important to clarify. In this case, UFO is really just a nickname that stuck because of their ultra-red color and that flat disc-like shape. No alien encounters this time.
Right, right. So today we're taking a deep dive into these fascinating cosmic UFOs. We're basing this on the latest research from the CU Boulder team, especially their study that came out in the Astrophysical Journal back in October 2024. What's wild is that these galaxies were completely hidden from view for the longest time. Even with powerful telescopes like Hubble, we just couldn't see them.
Exactly. And that's because Hubble mainly sees invisible light. But these UFO galaxies, well, they emit very little visible light. It's kind of like trying to hear a dog whistle without, the right equipment. You need a tool that's tuned to those specific frequencies, in this case, infrared light.
So that's where the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, comes in. That's our infrared superhero, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
JWST is designed to detect that infrared light that's been stretched out over billions of years as the universe expands. It's like looking back in time to the very early universe.
Okay, so that's our mission today. Figure out what makes these UFO galaxies so unique, how JWST finally revealed them, and what their existence means for our understanding of, how galaxies are born and evolve. So first things first, how were these cosmic UFOs discovered? What was that aha moment like for the researchers?
It all started with those first images coming back from JWST.
Yeah.
The CU Boulder researchers were combing through them, and that's when they saw these things. It was JWST's infrared vision that made the discovery possible.
I love the reaction from Erica Nelson, one of the lead astrophysicists on the team. She said, and I'm quoting here, "They're so visually striking, enormous red disks that pop up in these images, and they were totally unexpected. They make you say, what? How?" You can just feel that sense of awe and honestly a little bit of bewilderment, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of science. You bump into something completely new, something you never anticipated, and it forces you to re-examine what you thought you knew. And you're right, JWST's infrared capabilities are the key here. Because the universe is constantly expanding, the light from very distant objects gets stretched out. It's what we call redshift. And that stretching shifts visible light into the infrared. So for those really distant early galaxies, JWST is the perfect tool to study them.
Which is so important because before JWST came online, there was this general feeling that we had a pretty good grasp of the different kinds of galaxies out there, at least in our cosmic neighborhood.
Exactly. It was like we had this neat little catalog of galactic types. But JWST started revealing these hidden objects almost immediately, and it suggests there might be entire populations of galaxies that have been under the radar all this time. In this study alone, they found 56 of these UFO galaxies in the images from the JWST Advanced Deep Extragalactic Survey, or JADES. That's not just a handful, it's a significant number.
56. So yeah, this isn't some fluke. This is a whole new category of galaxy. So we know they're out there, and thanks to JWST's infrared eyes, we can finally see them. But what are these UFO galaxies actually like? What makes them so strange, so different from the galaxies we're used to seeing?
Well, the first thing you notice is their color, or rather their lack of brightness in the visible light spectrum. They look red because they emit very little of the light that our eyes, or Hubble for that matter, can detect. Almost all their energy output is in the infrared. Imagine a blacksmith's forge. When the metal first starts to glow, it's a faint red, right? But most of the energy is coming off as heat, which is infrared radiation.
So they were basically invisible to Hubble. That explains why we never saw them before. Now, Erica Nelson described them as enormous red disks. Tell me more about their size and shape.
From what we've observed so far, they do seem to be disc-shaped. And here's the really interesting part. They appear to be similar in size to our own Milky Way galaxy. So these aren't tiny, irregular blobs of stars. These are substantial, organized structures.
It's amazing to picture these huge Milky Way-sized disks drifting through space, practically invisible to us until now. But there's another feature that's even more striking and perhaps even more puzzling: their extreme dustiness.
Oh, absolutely. Now, all galaxies have some dust. These are tiny particles, bits of heavier elements, basically the leftovers from dead stars. But these UFO galaxies, they take it to a whole new level. The researchers estimate they contain enough dust to block about 50 times more light than our Milky Way. That's a mind-boggling amount of obscuring material.
50 times. That's hard to even wrap your head around. You mentioned a great analogy earlier, the sandstorm. Can you bring that back to help us visualize just how dusty these galaxies are?
Sure. Imagine you're standing outside on a bright sunny day. No clouds, just clear skies. Then suddenly, a massive sandstorm rolls in. The air is thick with sand, and it blocks out almost all the sunlight. If you can even see the sun at all, it looks dim and reddish. That's similar to what's happening to these UFO galaxies.
Right.
Except instead of sand, it's cosmic dust, and the blockage of light is far, far more intense.
Wow, okay. That really paints a picture. And you mentioned this dust is basically the remnants of dead stars, right?
Exactly. It's the stuff that's left behind when massive stars explode as supernovae. These heavy elements get scattered into space, and they eventually clump together to form dust grains.
So does this tell us anything about the history of these UFO galaxies? Like, have they had a particularly violent past?
It certainly raises some intriguing possibilities. Having this much dust usually means there's been a lot of star formation, a lot of stars dying and spewing out those heavy elements. So yeah, it hints at a very active past, possibly even a period of intense star birth and death.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got these massive red disc-shaped galaxies that are choked with dust, so much dust that Hubble couldn't even see them. And as Justice Gibson put it, JWST allows us to see this type of galaxy that we never would have been able to see before. It tells us that maybe we didn't understand the universe as well as we thought. That's a pretty humbling realization, isn't it?
It really is. For a long time, our ideas about how galaxies formed were based on what we could observe. And those observations were limited. Now we're finding these hidden galaxies, these UFOs, and they don't fit neatly into our existing models. Eric and Nelson called them totally unexpected, and that's a really important point. These galaxies challenge our assumptions, and they force us to reconsider the timeline and the processes of early galaxy evolution.
It's like we thought we knew the rules of the game, and now we're discovering there's a whole new set of players we didn't even know existed. So what are the big questions scientists are asking about these UFO galaxies? What are the mysteries that still need to be solved?
Well, the most obvious question, and it's the one that's stumping everyone, is this. Why so much dust? Erica Nelson put it perfectly when she said, why on earth do these galaxies have so much more dust than all the other galaxies? Got me. That got me. Really says it all. What mechanisms could have produced this extreme amount of dust? Was it an incredibly high rate of star formation and death? Did these galaxies collide and merge with other dusty galaxies? Or is there something else going on, something we haven't even thought of yet?
And it's not just anyone saying, got me. It's the leading experts in the field. They're admitting they don't have the answers yet. It's a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the universe. But maybe by studying these UFO galaxies, we can gain some new insights into galaxy formation in general, right?
Absolutely. These UFOs might represent a whole new pathway in galaxy evolution. Or they might highlight the crucial role dust plays in shaping galaxies and controlling star formation. So by studying them, by examining their properties, we can learn more about how all galaxies, including our own Milky Way, grow and change over time.
So in a way, these cosmic oddballs could help us understand the more normal galaxies out there. It's like studying extreme weather to better understand everyday climate patterns.
That's a great analogy. These extreme cases can often shed light on processes that are harder to see in more typical systems. And at the end of the day, these discoveries, as Erica Nelson said, suggest that the universe might be even more interesting than we thought. It's exciting to think there are still so many things out there waiting to be found, things that will push our understanding even further.
So to sum up our deep dive into these ultra-red flattened objects, or UFO galaxies, the James Webb Space Telescope has revealed a whole new class of galaxies that were hidden from Hubble's view. These UFOs are massive, red, and incredibly dusty, and they challenge our existing models of how galaxies form and evolve.
It's a perfect example of how new technology can completely revolutionize our understanding of the universe.
And it all circles back to that feeling of awe and wonder, doesn't it? The universe is full of surprises, and we're only just beginning to uncover its secrets. Who knows what other strange and wonderful things are out there just waiting to be discovered.
It's enough to make you want to keep looking up at the night sky, wondering what else is out there.
Absolutely. And with tools like JWST, we're getting closer and closer to finding out. Until next time, keep exploring the cosmos.